How do we use the 707 fractal to forecast the next few months in the S&P? We've talked about in our most recent forecast that we're looking for a continued rally until late September. It could be until the 20th or 25th of September. And there's probably another high around October 3rd. We're looking for a decline in October. And that decline may be somewhat severe. Meanwhile, how did we figure it out? This is important. Gann, back in his day, actually did understand the nature of how markets expand and how they contract. He understood the differences between time frames and the similarities between time frames. Nowadays, we have a term for this. It came out of mathematics, and it's called fractal geometry. Fractal geometry is extremely important in understanding how markets develop and has been used in the markets by various market technicians, but not the way we do it. And what's interesting is the number 707 shows up right now on several different time frames. Here you see a chart of the 240-minute S&P chart on the futures. And above, you see the actual market, and underneath you see 707 bars ago. And notice it's been repeating quite well for the last few months. And what it calls for is a continued rally until later in September. But what's really interesting is 707 weeks and 707 months are also repeating. And this is where the concept of fractal comes in. Different time frames having the same form. If you look at this chart of the weekly S&P, you'll see that the low in 2009 lines up to the week with the low in October of 2022. The major low that kicked off the whole bull market from 2009 is lining up exactly with the low in October 2022. And the pattern in the decline between 2008 matches the decline in 2022. Even though the price action was much more severe back then, the form was the same. And we're talking about the form. And now the rally that's taken place since October is also repeating very, very nicely the low that happened in 2009 into 2010 into 2011. So we see two examples of 707, first on a very short-term basis on a 240-minute bar chart, and the second on a weekly chart. And then, where did the number 707 come from? This takes it one step further. Look at 707 months. This is what we do in our forecasting course. We add knowledge not only about Gann, not only about astrology, not only about how to forecast with a rather unusual approach which actually works, but also how the mathematics of the intelligence that's structuring the whole system is designed. It's a very profound and rich understanding of markets and how they work and how to make money in the markets. So this forecasting course will start up on this Sunday, September 10th. If you're interested in doing it, do it now, because I don't know exactly when we'll do the next course. And it's important, if you really want to understand what the markets are going to be doing going forward, you'll have a handle on it that you would never have otherwise. So, 707 months, it turns out to be 2 times the exact length of the cycle of Saturn. 25.457 is the exact number of years in Saturn's revolution. 2 times that is exactly 707 months. To the day, it turns out to be 10,759 days times 2, which is the cycle of Saturn times 2. And here you have a chart that shows you several occurrences of the position of Saturn where the market is repeating a piece of 1994, and it's also repeating a piece of 1906, which is 4 cycles of Saturn ago. And you see the sum projected in the pink forecast underneath, and above you see the present market. So here we see 707 repeating on 3 different time frames. In some ways, some of you enjoy the forecasting with astrological tools, and astrology is a real big part of what you do. This is actually beyond astrology. This shows that the planets themselves are kind of working for this overarching mathematical system. They're playing into it as well. And it's a phenomenal insight to understand how this intelligence is kind of running the show that's underneath the mathematics of the market.